The message arrived just after I rinsed the mugs and clicked the kettle off. Group chat. Vacation 2026. Palm Springs. Aaron had posted a glossy brochure photo of a white-walled villa with a pool and a wine bar. Then one sentence. It's $900 each. If you can't afford it, stay behind. No greeting. No call. No mom, would you like to come? Just a decision with a price tag like a gate. I stared at it a long time and closed the app. I didn't reply. I stood in the quiet kitchen, letting the words settle somewhere cold. He knew I was on a fixed income. He knew I wouldn't ask for help. He also knew I rarely fought back. That night, while I folded laundry, my phone buzzed again. Fraud alert. Unusual activity detected. 4 luxury hotel bookings. Total $4,216. My heart kicked. I opened the banking app. The charges were already pending. Confirmation emails sat in my inbox, all under one name. Kira M., my daughter-in-law. I didn't remember ever sharing my card. When I clicked the emails, each was already marked as read. Someone had been inside my account, maybe for longer than I realized. I locked the card, changed the password, and stared at the emptied inbox. No apology, no warning, just a quiet theft dressed as assumption. I used to believe keeping peace meant staying quiet. Suddenly, I wasn't sure which cost more, my money or my silence. Before the sunlight reached the window the next morning, a new ping came through. A shared drive folder. Vacation 2026 Family Planning. Inside were subfolders for itinerary, spa options, boat day, and one labeled Shared Costs. I opened the spreadsheet. Names in one column, amounts in another, room preferences recorded like contracts. Next to mine, confirmed. Paid via Elena's card. I sat down, phone in hand, the screen glowing as if I'd said yes to all of it. I called Aaron before I could overthink it. He answered on speaker. "Hey, Mom, you saw the folder? Cool, right?" "I did," I said. "Why does it say I've paid?" "It's already planned," he said, brisk. "We needed to get the reservations in. It'll be good for the family to reset. We've all been tense." "I didn't authorize that charge," I said quietly. He sighed, like I was being unreasonable. "It's just easier this way." Then Kira's voice chimed in from the background, bright and careless. "Don't worry, Elena, we'll pay you back when the taxes hit. Promise." They'd said the same thing about the fence, the one I replaced after the storm at Kira's insistence. "We'll pay you back when the refund comes in, Elena. 2 springs ago. No check." I looked again at the sheet. Every dollar accounted for except the way mine had been taken. After I hung up, I didn't delete the folder. I printed it. Then I pulled out the old accordion file from the closet and slid the pages inside. The last tab was labeled Trust Broken. That afternoon, I logged into my bank account and began pulling statements line by line. By the time I clicked into the family video call, they were halfway through debating restaurants. Kira wanted somewhere Instagram-worthy. Aaron argued for a private chef package. Others chimed in like money was a fruit they could pick at will. No one paused when I joined. No greetings. "Let's vote in the drive after this," Kira said. "Can I ask something before we finalize anything?" I unmuted. "Sure," she said, too bright. "I got a fraud alert yesterday," I said. 4 luxury bookings on my card." She tilted her head as if confused. "That's just the hotel. It was a family decision." Someone chuckled. Maybe Aaron's cousin. "It's just money, right, Lenny? It all comes back around." Tightness crawled up my chest, that familiar feeling when someone else decides how much you should give. Still, I didn't raise my voice. I shared my screen and pulled up the statement, highlighted charges glowing. "This is the card I use for medical emergencies," I said. "I never agreed to this." Silence lasted a beat. Then Kira forced a laugh. "We assumed you'd want to contribute. You always do." There it was, the expectation I'd never contradicted strongly enough. I clicked out. "That's not the point," I said, but the conversation had moved on to swimsuit colors. I left the call without goodbye. No anger, just clarity. I spent that night at the kitchen table, notepad beside me, laptop open to months of transactions. I'd promised myself I'd only dispute the hotel charges. But once the bank representative confirmed the bookings used my stored card, something hardened. I turned on 2-factor verification for every account. Then I scrolled month by month. a streaming service I never signed up for, a sushi restaurant in Portland, a city I hadn't visited in years, a spa membership Kira's favorite chain charged every other month under a name not quite mine, always small amounts, always spaced out enough to blur into groceries and utilities. I'd miss them because I trusted them. By midnight, I'd listed 15 transactions over nearly a year. I took screenshots, printed receipts, circled dates in red until the page looked like a warning sign. The next morning, I walked into the police station. The officer at the counter listened without judgment and handed me a form. "You're doing the right thing," he said. I didn't feel right. I felt peeled back. When I got home, my phone exploded with notifications. Kira had posted a sunset photo captioned, "Imagine being betrayed by the one person you thought you could count on." The comments brimmed with sympathy. I didn't reply. I muted the group chat and set the phone face down. Outside, wind rattled the windows. I let it. Saturday morning, I opened the curtains and almost dropped my mug. Aaron stood on the porch, arms folded, expression hovering between irritation and pity. He hadn't knocked. He waited like I owed him an explanation. I opened the door. He gave me a tight, practiced smile. "Hey, Mom, you weren't answering your phone?" "I had nothing to add," I said. He exhaled, half sigh, half laugh. "You're taking this too far. It's just a trip. You filed a police report over hotel rooms." "I'm protecting myself," I said evenly. "You'll blow up the whole family over this. Kira's been crying for days. You made her look like a thief." "She used my card without permission," I said. "That's not an accident." He shook his head. "You're cold about money. You care more about dollars than people. We're family." Family, the word as shield and lever. I didn't argue. I opened my voicemail and pressed play. Kira's voice filled the room, sweet then urgent. "Elena, can I get your card number? Just to hold the reservation, I'll cancel it right after." Aaron's face drained. The charm fell first, then color. For a moment he looked young, unsure. He rubbed the back of his neck. "You didn't have to do all this," he muttered. "I did," I said. "Someone had to." He didn't answer. He stepped off the porch and left without looking back. When I closed the door, the silence felt heavier, but cleaner. I added a new page to the folder. Voicemail. March 9th. That evening, I drove to see Lila, my niece. She opened the door with her arms crossed and her hair tied back, surprise softening into welcome. We sat at her kitchen table with 2 steaming mugs. "I thought you weren't talking to anyone," I said. "Didn't seem worth it." She stared at her tea. "They did it to me, too. Aaron and Kira. They used my name to rent a car for their anniversary. Said their IDs weren't updating. I found out when the toll notices piled up 900 in late fees. I was 22. The quiet stretched. Then the dam cracked. A cousin who loaned them a card for one emergency and got it back maxed out. An aunt who covered part of their taxes after Kira blamed a paperwork glitch. None repaid. Lila's gaze sharpened. "I thought it was just me, that I was being dramatic." "You weren't," I said. Certainty, if not comfort. This wasn't one mistake. It was a system, refined and wrapped in family language. I had simply become the first person to say no and stay with it. My sister Mara offered her house for a talk. Neutral ground, she said, though nothing about it felt neutral anymore. I arrived first and set a manila envelope on the dining table. They trickled in. Aaron and Kira, cousins, aunts, uncles. Kira clung to Aaron's arm behind oversized sunglasses we all understood. "Let's be calm," Mara tried. "We never meant to hurt anyone," Kira began, voice trembling. "It's a huge misunderstanding. Elena never said we couldn't use the card. We just assumed." I handed out the folders, screenshots, email confirmations, a transcript of the voicemail, a list of recurring charges with names beside them. Pages rustled. "I'm not here to fight," I said. "I'm here to stop this." No one asked what this meant. I put on my coat and walked to the door. Nobody followed. Nobody tried to stop me. I didn't slam the door. I didn't offer closure. I left like someone who had finally reached the edge and stepped past it. Before sunrise, an email from Aaron arrived. "You didn't have to do this." 3 pages, accusations, half confessions, appeals to family unity, a reminder of what Dad would think if he were alive. I read it twice and archived it. By midweek, the fallout spread. 2 cousins stopped answering. One aunt blocked me. Another texted, "I'm sorry for how they treated you, but I can't get involved." A few relatives sent quiet apologies in the night. I knew something was wrong. I didn't want to believe it. The words felt late, not wrong. At my next appointment, Dr. Serrano listened and said, "People who benefit from your lack of boundaries call them betrayals when you finally draw them." It landed clean. That afternoon, I opened a new bank account at a different institution and updated my will with one line. No shared financial responsibility shall be assumed unless documented in writing. The notary stamped it without questions, as if she knew something about women who walk in alone. The phone rang twice and stopped. A new silence began to fill the house, smaller, but with clear edges. I sorted files, labeled envelopes, deleted numbers I no longer needed. Breathing felt easier, as if I'd stopped waiting for the next demand. On Wednesday morning, a call came from Northway Credit. An application in my name had been flagged and declined. I thanked the woman, logged the incident by case number, and made tea without letting it define the day. People don't change just because you say no. That afternoon, Lila texted, "Weekend up north, just us. I booked everything on my card receipts are in your inbox. No surprises." I opened the folder. Tidy PDFs, full transparency, no line for me to fill in. I said yes. Saturday, I boarded the train with one suitcase and a sweater I hadn't worn in years. No one called to ask where I was going or to ask for anything. Somewhere past the valley, with trees sliding by and sun warming the window pane, I noticed how quiet my mind had become. They had wanted my silence. I chose to speak. They had wanted my money. I chose myself. They expected the version of me who said yes to keep the room warm. She was gone. Back home, I unpacked slowly. After the kettle sang, I took a small notepad and wrote 7 words in firm, steady script. My boundaries are not up for discussion. I pinned the note to the inside of the front door, right above the handle where I'd see it every time I left and every time I returned. That evening was the monthly potluck at my credit counseling group. I'd never spoken before, just listened, passed the bread. When the talk circled to the price of saying yes, I cleared my throat. "I thought I was protecting the family," I said. "Every time I covered the shortfall, I thought I was keeping us together. But I was only delaying the damage like interest on a debt no one meant to pay. No one interrupted, no one minimized. They just listened. At home, I washed the dishes, folded the blanket, and turned my phone off completely. No alerts, no unauthorized charges, no emergencies that weren't mine, just stillness. I sat inside it, the air shifting with the night breeze, the floor cool under my feet, the walls exactly where I left them. I had been afraid of not being needed. This felt different, not needed, not used.